people will change, and they're not going to just change in intellectual ways in what they think, but they'll change how they react to certain circumstances emotionally, and they'll change how they think about you, and you'll change how you think about other people. And I don't think we really grasp the amount that people are able to change. You could have a best friend in elementary school, and they're just, they have certain qualities and certain traits, and it feels like they should at least keep some of those, right? Like they'll probably keep a little bit of them, but they could become a totally different person. Like after 5 years, you haven't seen them, and then you see them again, and you try to get along with them or whatever, but they could be so totally different that you can't be friends anymore. You can't. They could be way, way, way worse or way better, but probably not, probably worse, or in the same level, but also just different. And they could change their manners, and they could change this or that, but there's a certain fear with the amount that people can change, especially if you're going into something with someone where you need to rely on them staying the same for a long time. For example, in a marriage, you have to rely on that person that you're marrying to be similar enough, or to change along with you in a way that you are both compatible in 30 years. And no matter what you do, no matter who it is, they have free will, and there is a non 0% chance that they'll change so much that you can't stand them anymore. Never mind, keep loving them. But that's not the only circumstance where you need people to stay the same. If you have parents and you're a kid, you have this certain idea of who they are and what they mean to you. And I think what a lot of kids do is they sort of forget that their parents are actually people, and they just think, yeah, that is dad. But they don't think, yeah, that is a male who is 30, 40, 50, however old your father is. They're that many years old, and they're in a certain stage of their life. And once you're an adult, they will be free to do whatever they want. And even as you are a kid, they could give you up to someone else and be free. They could do actions that you never thought they could possibly do. And they could, no matter what they say, they can still do those actions. Even if it's illegal for them to do those actions, they can still do those actions. And that is the scary part of relying on people, is that they can totally change. If you give someone a super crazy secret about you, that if it got out, it would ruin you, well, now they have power over you, and they're going to change over time. Which means you have to account for the new person that they're going to be in 30 years, and you can't account for that. So you kind of just have to let it be. You have to just accept that they could become an untrustworthy person. Something that made me start to think about this was in Beast Games, of all places. Uh, there's a guy who's really trustworthy, and I mean, this is pretty, it's real because he's actually going to get money, and he's a really trusted guy. He has a family, and everyone thinks he's amazing, and he gave up $1 million to be there. And halfway through, he just takes $250,000 when he should have not taken that much money. And everyone gets angry at him. But the thing is, they didn't understand that people are people. People change, they don't conform to the rules that you give them. People aren't rocks that you can engrave your words onto them, and the words will never ever wash away, and they'll stay in their mind, and they'll stay the same. People aren't like that. People are unique and weird, and they can be persuaded, and you can help them or you can hurt them, and that'll make them into a different person. And they can decide to change. They can use their free will to make decisions that are totally unprecedented because people aren't this construction in their head. They make a construction in their head of who they are, but they can go against it. And it makes you feel so weird. I'm sure you've done this before, where you have an idea of who you are, and then in a split second, you make a decision that goes against that. But you just did it because of an emotion, or because this person did this thing, or that person did that thing. And you always thought, if I was in this situation, then I wouldn't do this action, but you did. You made that action, and it challenges you, and you can crumble against it, or you can get stronger because of it. But like the Russians say, the same water that hardens the egg softens the potato. So yeah, different people, they will react to different circumstances in certain ways, and maybe for a long time they will stay consistent. Some people are really consistent, but they'll never be perfectly consistent. There's only really one being that can actually be totally consistent and that you can rely on. But you don't have to care that they are inconsistent. You don't have to care that you're putting your trust into people, because there's nothing that you can put your trust into. There's nothing that you need to keep in this world that will have any effect at the end of the day. In 100 years, you'll be dead, and all of your possessions that you have will be gone. 200 years, your children will be dead, and everyone will have forgotten about you. So, whatever secret you have, whatever might put you in prison, whatever might get you shot, whatever could break your reputation, it doesn't matter. You have to stand, you have to make the decision to stand for what you are. Because who you are isn't set in stone. Who you are is who you repeatedly decide to be over time. And you just choose it over and over and over and over again. And eventually you make a mistake and it goes against who you feel like you are, and you feel like you're crumbling. And then you just decide to not go in that direction. And that is the only way that you can do it. Because you aren't who you are who you decide to be. It takes conscious effort to stay the same person over time. It's not something that is automatic. The whole world is trying to get you to adapt to its surroundings all the time. Whether it's temporary or over a long time span, it'll wear you down in certain ways. It'll poke at you, and it's just trying to see if it can get you angry, or make you feel lust, or make you feel pleasure, or make you do things that you said you would never do. That's what the world is for. It's one big temptation pot. It's trying to mix you in with everyone else, and is trying to say, if you just conform to what I tell you, then you will be happy. If you just go along and you don't think, and if someone says something, you just agree with them, and you don't allow yourself to push against the current, then everything will be fine. But it's all a lie, because people, they lie. They change, and you will change. There's nothing you can do about it. But the only person that you can decide to change is yourself. And the only person that you can direct the change is yourself. You can decide if you're going to go in this direction or that direction. And along the way, you'll probably slip and you'll fall, because that's what the world does to you. And that's just how it works. But you have to be conscious about it. Animals, they're stuck in their ways. They're stuck in that They probably won't actually change. They'll probably stay the same, just wild, crazy, doing whatever emotion tells them to do in this moment. But you're a human being, so you have to make the decision to be yourself. It's against nature to be a human being who, against everything, resists any of the worldly stuff and just keeps your own identity. If you decide to keep your own identity, then you're going against nature, and that is quite admirable.